bond issue, which I'll talk a little more about in the budget, but he's going to talk about how we did.
Great. Good morning.
Good morning.
Really good news. We're very pleased with the results of the underwriting that was done by RBC Capital Markets and Piper Jaffray as a joint underwriting team. And so you have just a two-page summary. I tried to keep this to very simple points that you can always refer to. We priced the bonds on November 23rd, which is a little unique because we had a holiday in that week, and there are times where being in a holiday week is not good. This year it actually was very good in that everybody else decided not to be, so we were the only show in town, which actually worked out very well. We are scheduled to close on December 16, so between now and December 16 really is finalizing documents and waiting for DCED approval, which should be forthcoming in the next week or two. Again, this project provides for your new 911 building, the associated radio equipment, and also the building acquisition on this property. You're using some available funds, so we're only financing $42.5 million, and as you might recall, we started more in the low to mid 50s, so it's a $42.5 million financing, and I'll get to the details of the financing on the next page. But we have wrapped this around your existing debt because your current debt declines significantly 3 years out. And so you'll see very little principal amortization on this new series of bonds for the first 2 years, with the idea that it fits into your budget much, much better if we do it that way. It's a very modest deferral, so the expense in this interest rate environment is nominal. Your true interest cost, which accounts for the cost of the bonds themselves plus the cost of issuance, for 25-year debt is 2.415%. So you have borrowed 25-year money at less than 2.5%, which is remarkable. Payment dates will be April 15 and October 15, so you'll have interest payments every 6 months, principal annually. You can see then, I'll flip to the next page. Oh, and I will say, we did receive the A+ rating, which you were upgraded, I think, a year or two ago. And in this environment of COVID and stress budgets, that's actually a very positive indication of how you manage the county's affairs. The rating call went very well, and so we're very pleased with that outcome. These bonds have what we call an 8-year optional redemption feature, so beginning October 15 of 2029 would be the first date at which you could pay these bonds off if you chose to do so. The next page then is a picture of your existing debt on the left side of the page, and again you can see principal of about $2.746 million in fiscal year 22, and then $1,565,000 in 23, and then it drops off significantly. So the objective of this financing was to not overburden the near-term budget by creating pure level debt. You can see in the next set of columns in the blue, $5,000 of principal being repaid in 2022 and 2023, and then it increases dramatically to more than $1 million of principal thereafter. You can see the coupon rates range from 1 to 3% across the spectrum of the yield curve, and so we are very, very pleased with that outcome. As you recall, we went through a process of soliciting proposals for underwriters. In our opinion, that process probably saved you $150,000 versus what a market rate would have been for that service. And through the negotiation of interest rates, and Jamie participated on the phone calls, we were able to get very, very low interest rates at very effective yields with an 8-year call. So we are very pleased with the outcome of the underwriting. And then just to show you on the far right side, you can see in the yellow the aggregate debt, and then I guess that's red or pink, total debt service. Peaks in 2022 and then starts to drop off, so levels off at just under $2.8 million beginning in 2024 and runs through 2046. So again, 25-year debt, which in today's marketplace with low interest rates and the type of asset you're financing is very, very common. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wayne?
Doesn't require any action. All this was approved by the parameters ordinance that you adopted a couple months back. Again, that was all subject to final numbers that were produced on November 23rd.
Since there are none, I'll ask one that may be obvious to everyone else, but what would be a reason after 8 years for,
Lower interest rates?
Is that, well, okay, so that's not.
Well, at these interest rates, they always say never say never. It will be a stretch to believe we refinance it. Having said that, very few bond issues get past the call date without being refinanced. The dynamics of getting to the call date reduces it from 25-year debt to what'll be, 17-year debt, 16-year debt, 17-year debt, and so shortening the yield curve has a very positive effect, and so it's possible that we would refinance them, but that would be the
That would be the
reason,
only
just lower interest rates. It takes about a 1% drop in rates, so keep in mind, you finance 25-year debt at 2.4, rates would have to drop to under 1.5% for refinancing to make sense. We've been stuck in this rate environment now for the better part of 11 years, so who knows how long this will persist.
Do you have a question? The building acquisition, that would be the city side. There's no amounts listed to each of those within the bond issue. Do you just have to name it, or do you have to assign a number to each of the?
So we do have numbers assigned to that. We didn't list it in this. See if I can find it quickly for you. Is
It's
it
2.5.
2.5 million? Yes.
And the radios are,
8?
18.
Yeah, 7.8, actually, the rest is ARPA.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah, 7.8.
Sorry.
and then the building itself is 15 or 16 million?
No, it would be
30, actually
30,
35,
yeah.
4.5.
Yeah.
Oh, that's with the furnishings and things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I'm
the-
trying to
That's,
think, how did we
that's
get to
all of your
that?
project costs.
Okay, all right, got it.
Architects, engineering, permits, construction, FF&E.
Yep.
And we'll look for reimbursements wherever possible from the telephone tax and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, there would, yeah, absolutely. Bob's nodding behind, so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else from Mr. Wenger?
Jay, what is the, on the credit rating, A+?
A+.
There's an A++, is that the best, or?
So the best is AAA.
Oh, okay.
Not even the federal government's AAA anymore. Then it goes AA, and then it's single A. And within single A, there's a plus, which means you're very, very close to AA. There's a regular A, which would be the middle, and then there's an A-, which would be the low end of the A category. For a county the size of Lebanon, to get to AA, you would have to hoard cash. And so while it's great to say you're AA, you're almost doing the taxpayers a disservice if you're hoarding that much cash. And it's a lot of cash. The rating agencies, the three most, it's like real estate, location, location, location. The rating agencies, it's cash, cash, cash. That's all they really care about. So A+, in our opinion, is an outstanding reflection of fiscal responsibility and management.
Okay, thank you.
And we got there from a triple B plus.
Yes, not too
several
long
years
ago.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's, and again, in that time frame, it's hard to, it's easy to get downgraded, it's really hard to get upgraded. So you've done a wonderful job since that kind of warning shot they fired at you several years ago, and a much, much better picture today.
Commissioner?
Jay, I just would, we've done a wonderful job. I appreciate your saying that, but I want to say that you helped us get there, and we certainly appreciate that.
Thank you. It's easy to make recommendations, it's hard to enact recommendations, so the credit goes to you. That's the hard part.
Anything else? All right, Jay, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.